Hey guys, Tiny Maths here, back with another video. In today's lesson, you'll be learning how to convert decimals into fractions. It's a 5-step process which, once you've learned it, will make converting decimals to fractions quite straightforward. In the lesson, we'll be converting three numbers, 0.62, 0.243 and 3.62. Let's jump in with our first example. Take the decimal 0.62. In step 1, you give your decimal the label x. So we write x equals 0.62 because we're saying x is the same value as this decimal. This will be useful to us later. In step 2, we turn the decimal into a whole number, that is a number without decimals, by multiplying it by some power of 10. If you multiply 0.62 by 10 to the power of 2, you get a number that isn't a decimal. 10 to the power of 2 is 100. So multiplying 0.62 by 10 to the power of 2 gives us 0.62 times 100, which equals 62. We'll explain later on how to choose the correct power of 10 for multiplying any decimal. In step 3, we replace the original decimal, 0.62, with its label x and rewrite the equation. So this gives x times 100 equals 62. For step 4, we find the value of x. We do that by dividing both sides by the number x is multiplied by to get x on its own. In the equation, x is multiplied by 100. So divide both sides by 100, giving us x equals 62 over 100. Finally, replace x with its original decimal value, 0.62. This gives 0.62 equals 62 over 100. And there you have it. Now you can see that the decimal on the left-hand side is equal to the fraction on the right-hand side. You've converted the decimal to a fraction. This fraction can be simplified by dividing numerator and denominator by the highest common factor of 62 and 100, which is 2. This gives the reduced fraction 31 over 50, which is our final answer. 0.62 equals 31 over 50. You might be wondering, which multiple of 10 do I multiply my decimal by? That's easy. Just multiply your decimal by 10 to the power of the decimal places. So 0.62 has 2 decimal places, so you multiply by 10 to the power of 2, which is 100. Let's say you had 0.243. That has 3 decimal places, so you would multiply it by 10 to the power of 3, which is 1000. And that will give you the whole number that you need. Let's convert 0.243 to a fraction. Step 1, give your decimal the label x. So x equals 0.243. Step 2, multiply the decimal by the correct power of 10 to turn it into a whole number. We've seen that since this decimal has 3 decimal places, we need to multiply it by 10 to the power of 3. And 10 to the power of 3 is 1000. So we get 0.243 times 1000, which is 243. For step 3, we replace the decimal with the label x and rewrite the equation. So replacing the decimal gives x times 1000 equals 243. For step 4, we find the value of x by dividing both sides by the number x is multiplied by to get x on its own. So divide both sides by 1000 and we get x equals 243 over 1000. And finally, for step 5, we replace x with the original decimal. And this gives us 0.243 equals 243 over 1000, and that's the decimal converted into a fraction. 243 and 1000 share no common factors, so we cannot reduce this fraction further. Let's do one final example. Convert 3.62 to a fraction. Now this might seem a little tricky. You have decimal places, but you also have a whole number. You might be tempted to label 3.62 as x. Actually, this is much easier than you think. You just have to change the way you think of this number. We can think of 3.62 as 3 plus 0.62, because if you add those two numbers together, you get 3.62. Although the numbers are formatted differently, they have the same value. Well, we already know how to write 0.62 as a fraction. That was our first example. 0.62 equals 31 over 50. So we can rewrite 3.62 as 3 plus 0.62 and rewrite that as 3 plus 31 over 50. And that really is just the mixed number 3 and 31 over 50. So if you get a decimal that's greater than 1, it's just a mixed number in disguise. It's a whole number with a fraction added to it. In this case, 3 was the whole number, and 0.62 is an unconverted fraction. So in order to turn a number like this into a fraction, you just separate the whole numbers and then use the 5 steps to convert the remaining decimals into a fraction. And then add the whole numbers back later once you've done the conversion, and that will be your answer, and it will be a mixed number. Well, that's our short lesson for today. In the next lesson, we'll be looking at how to convert a number with recurring decimal places into a fraction. For example, a number like this. You can see that after the decimal point, the numbers repeat on and on, and it goes on forever. We'll be looking at how we can convert a number like this into fractions. Well, that's it for now. Until the next video. Take care.